Welcome to this episode of All About ELD. Today I'll show you two ways to use the DRTA GLAD strategy with your multilingual learners. So, what is the DRTA strategy? DRTA stands for Directed Reading Thinking Activity. It is a strategy that supports reading comprehension and vocabulary development. Before reading, students make predictions or ask questions about the text. After reading, students use evidence from the text to confirm or reject their predictions or questions. Let me show you the two ways I modify this strategy to use it with my multilingual learners. So, why use the DRTA strategy? Use it to activate student prior knowledge, help students become active readers, make reading an interactive process, support reading comprehension, and support vocabulary development. The first step in the DRTA strategy is to make predictions or ask questions about the text. If you teach newcomers or level 1s and 2s, you might need to teach students what a prediction is, how to make predictions or observations, how to ask questions about the text. Use modeling and sentence stems or starters to guide them in this first step. If the text is too long, focusing on a specific page or selecting a few pictures from the text is a better way to start and support your newcomers with this strategy. This strategy can be used in many ways to support reading comprehension. Reading an entire passage can be overwhelming and exhausting for MLs. There might be too many words they don't know yet. This makes text hard or impossible to understand. So how do I support my MLs understand more of the grade level text they have to read? Well, first I chunk the text. I read the passage beforehand and select specific paragraphs in the passage that are essential for them to understand the main idea of the whole text. I do this mainly for my newcomers level 1s and 2. After selecting these paragraphs or just sentences, there are two things I do. First, I think about my newcomers level 1s and 2s. Are there ways I could shorten this paragraph? Do I need to take out non-essential words? Would doing this help them comprehend what the paragraph or sentence is about better? If so, I rewrite the paragraph or sentence in an easier, friendlier way. However, if the paragraph or sentence has an important vocabulary word that they must know or learn, I leave these in the modified paragraph or sentences. Next, I give them my organizer. If I'm working with my if I'm working with my levels 3s or 4s, I have them find the paragraph or text in the original paper or on their workbooks, wherever they are reading. So they will circle the whole paragraph or they would highlight it. Now, to begin the strategy, students take a look at the paragraph or sentence and the place around the paragraph or that sentence on the page. Then I ask students guiding questions like, are there any text features? What are these telling me? What do you think the paragraph will be about? What makes you think that? So ask them why they think that. And after talking about what they see and what they notice or what they wonder, ask the students to make predictions about the text. Model and use sentence starters and give them word banks if needed. Next, write down their predictions. You can write them together if you're doing whole group or small group, or if your students are more independent and you have done this strategy in the past, they can work with a partner. So write the predictions on the first column of the organizer. I will show you the organizer later, so keep watching. And remember, this activity can be done with a whole class if you are an elementary classroom teacher or in small group. So there's lots of choices with this strategy. After writing down the predictions or questions about the text, the next step is to read the text. Depending on your students' reading skills and abilities, you may want to guide them by doing echo reading, for example, or if they are more independent and don't need too much support reading, they can read with a partner. While reading, students can annotate. After reading, have them mark if their prediction was confirmed, rejected, or inconclusive in the second column. After reading, Go back to each of the predictions and questions one by one and ask students to decide if the prediction is confirmed, rejected, or inconclusive based on evidence from the text. Make sure to model how to do this and provide sentence starters or word banks if your students need it. Model how to find the evidence from the text and fill out the last column of the organizer. You can use sentence stems like on paragraph blank or on page blank or the author mentions or according to the text or the caption said. Um, to finish the activity, add more speaking to the lesson by using the second and third columns to have students share sentences like, my prediction is confirmed because on page blank, my prediction is rejected because, or I thought this paragraph was about, but it is about. So sentences like that. Here are some sentence starters that you can use for making predictions about the text. And here are some others that you could use with your students to confirm or reject their predictions. This is the organizer I use with my students. If you're chunking the text on this organizer, you could add a sentence or more sentences from the original text so students only focus on that part of the text. You could also type a modified version of the text. Or if your students don't need chunking or modifications, you could type on the first box where it says text, you could type the title of the text that you guys are reading, or you can write read paragraph 10, for example. There are sentence stamps at the bottom of the organizer for both making predictions and for confirming or rejecting predictions. If your goal is to focus on vocabulary development, follow these steps. Start the same way by looking at the text features and making predictions. Remember the considerations for newcomers level 1s and 2s that we talked about before. Then select the specific words from the unit that you're teaching or from the text that your students are supposed to read. Have students find these words on the text by circling or highlighting them. Depending on the skill level of your students, consider doing this step one word at a time or have them do all the words if they are more independent. I recommend doing up to 4 words per lesson. So the next step is to read the words with your students. Have them repeat it after you. Then ask students to think of questions or make predictions on what they think the word means and guide them with open-ended questions and use sentence starters. Next, have students fill out the organizer. You can fill out this part as a whole class in a small group, or if the students already know how to do this activity, they can work in pairs or independently, and then have them share out. Next, have students read the paragraph that contains the word that you're working on, or just a sentence that has this word, if your students are newcomers or level 1s. Show them how you use context clues to get new information and figure out the meaning of the word. When you're done reading, talk about what you read. After reading the sentence or short paragraph containing the word, ask students to decide if their predictions about the meaning of the word can be confirmed or rejected, and to find evidence from the text that supports this idea. End this activity and add more speaking to the lesson. Um, Use both the second and the third columns like we did for the comprehension part to have your students make sentences like my prediction is confirmed because on page I thought the word meant blank, but now I know it means blank. Or my prediction was that blank meant blank, but the text says it means blank. Here is one of the versions of the organizers for vocab development. On this version, you can type or write a sentence or short paragraph from the original text on each row. So here you would have 3 different sentences that have a word that you want your students to learn, and they would make one prediction per word. On this second version of the organizer, you could pick a part of the text or a sentence that has more than one word that you want to teach your students. So write that at the top where it says text. And then on the word column, you can write each word on a row. And then students would make one prediction per word. Another way to use this organizer is by selecting a text with one vocab word, write it at the top, and then having students make different predictions for that same word. So you would rewrite the same word on the word column, but you would make more than one prediction for that word. And this is very useful to do when you are teaching multiple meaning words. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to read the description because there's links to resources and to the organizers I showed you. And like and subscribe to my channel if you like this video.